The movie begins with two police detectives, Mason Danvers and Joel Gaynor, preparing to arrest Victor Abbott, a powerful drug lord, and his brother Griffin. When they arrive at the Abbott brothers' hideout, Griffin, already armed and prepared, ambushes them. He shoots Joel, paralyzing him temporarily, forcing him to retreat and hide. Mason engages in a fierce shootout with Griffin. Despite the intensity of the battle, Mason manages to incapacitate Griffin. He then searches for Victor, leading to another violent confrontation. Both men run out of ammunition and engage in brutal hand-to-hand combat. Victor overpowers Mason and nearly kills him, but Joel arrives just in time with backup. The Abbott brothers are arrested, but as Victor is taken away, he delivers a chilling threat to Mason, promising they will meet again. Mason returns home to his wife, Jocelyn. The two share a heartfelt conversation about their long-standing struggle to have a child. Despite their challenges, Mason reassures Jocelyn, encouraging her to keep trying. At work the next day, Mason's colleague informs him of a troubling development: all the witnesses who could testify against the Abbott brothers have mysteriously disappeared. With no evidence or witnesses left, the authorities are forced to release Victor and Griffin. Alarmed, Mason immediately calls Jocelyn, fearing for her safety due to Victor's earlier threat. To his horror, Victor answers the phone, revealing that he has already broken into Mason's home and taken Jocelyn hostage. Mason rushes back home but arrives too late. Victor brutally kills Jocelyn before Mason can stop him. Devastated, Mason nearly shoots Victor in a blind rage, but Joel stops him. Victor is arrested again, leaving Mason heartbroken and consumed with grief. Unable to move on from Jocelyn's death, Mason isolates himself. Joel visits him and suggests he take some time off to clear his mind, perhaps by going on a hunting trip. Mason appears to consider the suggestion, but instead of hunting animals, he sets out to find Griffin to avenge his wife's murder. After locating Griffin's whereabouts, Mason contacts Joel for backup but doesn't wait for reinforcements. He ambushes Griffin and kills him before the police arrive. Mason's actions result in his arrest, which he had anticipated as part of a larger plan to get sent to the same prison as Victor. In the prison cell, Mason was visited by a warden named Will, who informed him that he had been summoned to the warden's office. Upon arriving, the warden, Snyder, warned Mason that many of the inmates there were criminals he had apprehended, advising him to stay vigilant as they might seek revenge. Mason, however, had anticipated this and remained cautious. Later, in the dining hall, Mason encountered Victor, who taunted him about his wife's death. Mason responded by revealing that he had killed Griffin in the same manner Victor had killed his wife. Shortly afterward, while Mason was doing laundry, 3 inmates attacked him. Overwhelmed and unable to defend himself, Mason was on the brink of serious harm when Ben intervened, breaking up the fight and preventing Mason from sustaining severe injuries. The next day, inside the prison, Mason learns from Ben, a former detective turned prison warden, that Victor has established significant control over the inmates. Victor has killed the strongest prisoners, earning their fear and respect, and he continues to run his drug empire from behind bars with the help of his loyal henchmen, Drexler and Booker. Ben warns Mason that Victor is even more dangerous inside the prison than outside and advises him to be cautious. Ben also reveals that Victor is part of a larger criminal network, with more powerful figures operating behind the scenes. Undeterred, Mason begins plotting his revenge. Mason starts by targeting Victor's allies. Using makeshift weapons, he kills Marco and Flynn, 2 of Victor's men. Furious, Victor orders Drexler to retaliate. Drexler sends another inmate to attack Mason in his cell, but Mason fights back and subdues the assailant. Meanwhile, Snyder, the corrupt chief warden, becomes involved. Snyder offers Mason a deal, proposing to use Mason's skills as a killer to eliminate his enemies in exchange